How complete should your models be when you're learning a new game system? We can dive into that.
Here at Tattoo Tabletop, we have a lot of fun, so be sure to like, share, subscribe. It's all completely free and it helps me out. And if you really want to help me out, come join our Patreon. Link is in the description where you can come post and talk about your favorite minis. Now back to the video.
Welcome to Tattoo Tabletop. My name is James, and today we are talking about how complete your models should be when you're learning a new game system. So, why did this come up? Well, specifically, this came up because I had posted in a games Discord, specifically 30K. As many who follow my Instagram know, I've been building and painting up my Sons of Horus for a while, and I had asked the question because in AOS and 40K in my local community, we had people who ran how to play events essentially, and we all learned together as a collective. And so I asked the question, has anybody done a heresy how to play event of some kind? Because I do know now that where the heresy community is, it does seem to be picking up a few new people, which is fantastic. But I also thought, basically, when I had gone to a local game shop at one point, I ran into two friends from the Age of Sigmar community, and they're like, "Oh, hey, we see you've been painting your heresy. Could you teach us heresy?" To which I said, "No, but that's because I don't know the rules myself, hence what prompted the question. But I also didn't know that they had heresy models or that they had heresy armies for that matter. I was surprised and I was like, oh, so there's more people who have heresy models. And one of them even said, I probably have 6,000 points of heresy and they haven't played a game. So I was very curious. I asked the question, and a lot of people said no. Specifically in that Discord, they said that they didn't because they would want to play, which is understandable. We like playing the game, we like painting the models, we would like to participate in said thing. And I do understand, as someone who has ran events, that sometimes it is a little difficult to be like, I guess I'll bite the bullet and I'll be the one who runs the event so that people can play. But it provoked a very interesting question because there were people who had said in the comments, like, I prefer that both armies are fully painted based and everything with immersive terrain sets and everything, like basically the full send, the full immersion experience, which I do understand. Part of the reason why we play this game is we do enjoy some aspect to it. Maybe it's the tactical nature, maybe it's just the models themselves, or maybe it is people like to play on those very specific immersive boards, the trench boards or big built sets and stuff like that. Very, very immersive experiences, which I do understand. But which one is the most conducive to learning? Because I do see the appeal of any of them, and I'll kind of go over them very briefly here. So let's say you're starting bottom of the barrel, you have your stuff maybe built, or you have bases and stuff like that, but you haven't finished painting it. You're just trying to learn the rules. I think that bottom is going to be the best for you. Just putting out a few pieces of scatter terrain or something and learning movement, learning, the different phases of the game. I think that's going to be better because you're trying to figure out if this game system is fun. Now, if you committed to building and painting and basing all of your stuff just for this one game system, and then you play the game a few times and you're like, I don't like it, you're going to feel like you wasted a lot of time or you spent a lot of time on something that you just probably didn't enjoy, and you're going to have a negative reaction to it. Now, if you pace up a few models, build them, try the game system, and you're like, oh, this isn't for me, you'll probably be able to sell them in your local community or eBay or wherever, and it probably won't, no harm, no foul. But I also understand on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, playing with the fully immersive terrain boards and stuff like that, or maybe even when you talk about something like 40K, playing on like the FLG terrain sets or like the specific GW layouts, because even though you can kind of cobble that all together from maybe individual pieces at your local game store or from around your house or something like that, you're probably going to feel more immersed, or you're going to feel more accurate to the experience of a tournament. And sometimes I can practice or play with, not the exact terrain sets, but I do often like to play with what shows up at tournaments because that is a bit more informs me a little bit more. And also I feel like I learn more from the experience because I'm like, oh, this is what it's going to look like in a tournament. So like, I will feel more confident stepping up to the table. And of course, there are the people that where you have the full immersive experience, the thematic board, the painted armies, and everything. And I understand that because when you do experience that, it is incredible. It's the immersive experience that you're looking for, right? It's the thing that probably pulled you in to looking at the game in the first place because you saw an awesome painted army, you saw an awesome thematic board, and you watched the dice roll, and it really immersed you. It was that simulation, that really cool battle simulation that you were really stoked on, and it made you full send it into it. Admittedly, Heresy did a lot of that for me. When I saw the first Istvan drop site board that they were traveling to the Games Workshop tournaments, I took so many pictures of it because I thought it was so cool to see. And it did eventually encourage me, that and the Heresy books and stuff like that. There's a lot of aspects to get into it. So this is more so an opinion of asking the question, what is best? That's right. We're pulling out the old Conan line. What is best in life? But not what he says. And maybe a little bit what it's either way. Which one is best for you? So, which one is best? Honestly, it depends. The reason I say that is because it's going to really depend on who you learn the rules from, and it's going to depend on your relationship to said thing. Are you invested in the game regardless? Are you just trying to learn it? Are you trying to figure out some stuff? Maybe you're more into the hobby side and you finally figured, oh, well, maybe I'll start learning the rules and actually try to play this. There's plenty of options for that, right? So I think it's always going to depend. First and foremost, the main answer you should always go with is ask your opponent or ask your teacher, ask whoever is going to show you this game system. Because if their main way of playing is they're like, I would like your army painted, based, whatever. I, if I'm being honest, I'd probably be like, maybe find a new teacher because that's going to be a lot of time investment and stuff like that. And if you get to the other side of that and you do play the game and you don't like it, it could result in a bit of a feels bad, as opposed to somebody's just like, oh yeah, just have it built so that it's accurately represented for like line of sight, things of that nature. And also it still gives you the simulated experience. You're still moving models that are built, and maybe you made a custom character or something like that. Maybe they're even primed or something. And that honestly, I find motivates me a lot more to finish painting is when I go and I play with those models and I'm like, oh wow, like I had a lot of fun, or this unit's really good. I should finish this unit. Those are always nice motivating factors. So number one is always going to be ask your opponent what the preference is, or well, opponent slash teacher. Number two, look for how to play events, or maybe encourage if you have some local TOs or people who have often been a teacher of game systems. Maybe propose the idea of doing a larger event. If you're one who's trying to learn the game system, I can guarantee there are other people like you who are also trying to learn the game and are trying and want to learn more, but they've been too nervous, maybe they've been too shy to ask or something like that. It could be a matter of things, but I would say maybe even ask your local community, maybe ask your friendly local game store, hey, are there any how to play events, or is there any sort of regular thing? For us in Minnesota here at my friendly local game store, on Friday nights we have Fight Night, which is a 40K, 1,000 points, starts at 6. And basically, there are people from experienced 40K players to brand new people, and sometimes they'll pair up the two so that they can teach each other. And obviously the person who helps run it helps establish and pair up individuals so that they can learn from the correct people and stuff like that, which is fantastic. It's a really good way, and it's just a low commitment. It's on a Friday night and it's 1,000 points, so it's a little bit easier. Always helps with that. But again, those are good questions to ask your friendly local game store, because in the event that they do have that sort of event that happens, it could be a great way for you to learn that, along with probably pairing up some battle reports. Try and learn at least what you can on your own, so that way when you do step up to the table, you at least feel capable enough to move stuff around and shoot, charge, what have you, while still being able to learn all the other rules. Number three is going to be kind of your own online research. It's going to be battle reports and stuff like that. Obviously, for the battle reports, your mileage may vary depending on the game system. Warhammer 40K, there is a ton out there. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Vanguard Tactics because they have, the how to play certain editions. They have how to play specific factions, so they really focus in on that. There's a lot more. There's actually constructed narrative learning courses that'll actually help guide you through it. Age of Sigmar, you can look at, Season of War. There's Battleshock Warrior. There's a few there. It's not nearly as much. Obviously, Tabletop Titans does their Mundigmar Nights, which are also great, and they do a really good job of actually explaining some of the rules while they're going along, which is also fantastic. That'd be a good way to learn there. For Heresy, Hassan Battle Reports has been the one that I have watched the most. I think there's a couple others out there, but that's the biggest one that I know of, and it's helped me a little bit. Um, and they do a pretty good job again of explaining certain rules, like, oh, I'm getting +1 to wound here because of this thing. So it's at least helped me learn a little bit. I still will need to do a in-person game at some point to learn how to play it, to properly understand it. I think I got the rough idea, but I guarantee that the devil's in the details there. Old World, I guess Tabletop Tactics did one. They've started doing Old World, which I thought was very interesting. Not what I would have anticipated. I know at one point they did Age of Sigmar, and then they kind of ditched that, and now they're on the Old World one, which is interesting. And I believe they have a how to play video on that one. So, third, watch some battle reports, or if those channels have how to play courses or how to play videos, obviously check those out. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think? And also let me know what game system you come from. How did you learn? How did you get into it? Did you start with just building your models? Did you actually just full send it, buy 2,000 points, paint and build and do the whole thing? Let me know down in the comments down below. And of course, if you like this content, feel free to like, share, subscribe. It is massively appreciated. Um, always, as always, there's fun stuff coming. I'm always working on something. I'm always pivoting to something. There's always going to be a thing. And of course, if you follow me on my Instagram, I paint, I build, and do all this stuff on there. At some point, I'm hopefully hoping to do like some live streams where I'm hobbying or something. People can come join. But of course, feel free to like, share, subscribe. And again, until next time, maybe you are learning a new game system. Maybe you're going to, an event night for whatever game system, and you got some models that you need to build or paint. And for that, I guess you'll just have to go paint something.